Welcome, everybody, to week 2 of the Rogue Energy Cup Series recap show. I'm your host, Cade Welty, and I'm here with Craig Popgris. Say hi, Craig.
Hey, how's it going, Cade?
I'm doing pretty good. We're really excited here to have another week of the show. We weren't canceled yet, you know?
Yep.
But what we're here to talk about today is a lot of different sort of storylines and sort of news. A lot more serious, actually, because Daytona 500 went so, spick and span. We're like, man, we're going to run out of things to talk about. And then Iowa and Watkins Glen rolled around.
Don't remind me of Watkins Glen.
Those are probably the two worst showings of racing I've ever seen. A lot of people compare it to open lobby racing.
Iowa wasn't too bad.
I think there were some really good parts of it, but overall, it looked like the ARCA series if the ARCA series had competitive cars, basically. It looked like the ARCA breaks a little, if you know that series. It was just a little too hectic, and we didn't. I don't think, especially as the race control people, the governing body of this league did not like it either, and we'll talk about more and more reports after this on what they are going to do to change it. But a couple big takeaways that I could really tell was some drivers really don't know how to drive some real specialty tracks, and I think the aggression level was way too high. But that's my take on the Watkins Glen race, at least. Iowa was more of just a couple people not knowing how to use that brake pedal, but at least the Watkins Glen was a lot of just there's a lot of taking, no giving. So what would you say?
It makes me scared of the rest of the road courses.
Yeah, I will say that
be
too.
Honest.
Speaking about the road courses from now on will be 50% at 2 times wear. They have confirmed that finally through reports that is being put in fruition for only road course dates though, and including playoff dates. So if we're looking here at the schedule, the playoff dates all are going to be 50% with 3 times wear, and then all road course races are going to be 50% with 2 times wear during the regular season. And then just coming out today from a poll from here, I'm going to pull it up real quick. I'm just going to read this correctly. It is it's not fully confirmed yet. They're 1 vote away, it looks like, for them to run 25% at 3 times wear. So that could change some strategy. That could put some strategy into play. Hopefully those two go through. That would be kind of nice. Other than that, I think we're really excited for these upcoming races. More cookie cutters, which means less talent needed to drive those tracks, or less mental thinking to drive those, if you want to say that. I think it was smart by the league to run the first 2 races after the Daytona 500 to run 2 entirely polar opposite tracks and require 2 different skills, because that really kind of shows what these guys can do. And I think once everyone started kind of calm down and figured it out, it was really good racing, but half the time they didn't really calm it down, and some guys still never figured it out. As a team owner, Craig, what would you how did your guys do?
It was only Arn again this week, sadly. Jay Pace couldn't make it. He couldn't make it in time. I don't know about Foofener, Rott, and Outlaw. I haven't heard from them in a bit. I think Arn had a pretty good points today in both races.
He was involved in a lot of wrecks also at Iowa. We do have to remember that.
Yeah.
That was honestly the weirdest part. Was it the way you won those races is if you were in the front 3 who all knew what they're supposed to be doing and kind of just took care of each other, and then once they cleared the field, because 4th on back, it was. I mean, I remember being in the middle of that, and it just was horrible racing. Not even when I mean horrible, I don't even mean no one was. It wasn't good drivers. It was just not clean, and it was just very over aggressive. And I think a lot of team owners had a lot of damaged cars at the end of the day that really shouldn't have had damaged cars. I think a lot of drivers didn't really take care of each other on the racetrack. So hopefully we see that. But another big thing. Now, Mr. Propkers, you can touch up on this. King of Kings just kind of dominated the whole two events. It was him and Laddie. They were kind of making sure each other were okay, and then they kind of just went off on each other. Well, I mean, I know you did reports with King. How is he feeling after that victory at Iowa?
Oh, he felt ecstatic afterwards, and he said he's looking forward to the rest of the season.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to see a lot of really good drivers in this league. I think that's going to be the best part. It's how competitive it is. Because you're not going to – it's not like two guys are going to run away with it. I think you're going to have a lot of winners once everyone kind of calms things down. Or even if there isn't a lot of winners, I think it's going to be really hard really to get a top five. It's going to be – I think there's going to be a lot of rotating people who are going to get top five some weeks and some guys who aren't going to get top fives ever. And I think that's one of the best things is you got to earn your spot every position there on the track, basically. And also another huge turnout. I think they gained numbers from last time they raced, or they were a couple, and we're still not even having some drivers even race with us yet. So a lot of good positive to take from the race weekends, but a lot of negatives to also look at. And one of the negatives was the racing product and the over-aggression in the Wreck Fest. I mean, what was our longest green flag run? 15 laps at Iowa, a short track?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's pretty good.
It's pretty good for what the racing was like, but not good for overall reasons. But as we take a look at the recap TV, we're gonna actually look at these points here real quick. Everyone will look over here. We're at the points now. Our points leader is still Ladion. He is, but he's only plus 25 on King, and he's only plus 30, and he's only plus 32 to Cade, who's in third. He dropped down by one. He had a horrible Watkins Glen race. I mean, he just got destroyed there. Last lap, number 2 car Mace just came in there and killed him. It was reported later that I guess Mace just misjudged the corner. We do have a statement from Cade on that, but they said Mace said he misjudged the corner, which I think he probably did. I was watching that on TV. It was pretty blatantly missed. So yeah, and no penalties were issued from there. But that's the only kind of big thing happened with Cade there. Thug moving up in this points, 4th overall in the points, minus 41 back to Ladion. Now if we take a look here at the points, 4th through basically 11th are all under a bubble. I mean, 4th and 5th are by 6 points. 6th, 7th, and 8th are all in a separation of 1 point of each other. Then Shrek's around. He's 8 points behind Arn, and then Kyle's 10 points behind Shrek. But what my favorite thing to look at here is this little cutoff line in the blue. It's a 2-point gap for in the playoffs and out of the playoffs. And we're going into race 4. Which is, I think that's one of the cooler things to look at. Is that's how competitive this league is everyone's really tightly, like, the top. I mean, really the top, like, everyone is close in their respective areas. If you're looking at from 16th through 15th, I mean, they're all really close with each other. 17th and 18th are close for them, for they're represented. I mean, J-Pace, he's ran one race is hitting 19th in points, so I think you as a team owner should be probably happy about that. As now we turn and look over at the Ladion Autosport is also taking the points lead. Now remember, they have 2 drivers, as with Buwalda. Oh no, they have 3. They have Buwalda, Shrek, and himself, who are all racing. We'll talk later on Shrek and some of those guys, but Ladion Autosport with 305, SPR with 255, Boss Motorsports with 216, Galaxy Gaming in 4th with 164, your team Craig with 149 in 5th, King Motorsports, just a 1-car team, is literally 138, Little People Motorsports 88, Zorku's team, I can't pronounce that first name, is 85, so a 3-point buffer there, and then Commando Motorsports, who you're a technical alliance with, are sitting dead last in owners points. So Craig, let's talk about, because this is the first week with the owners, with the new alliance and everything. How did you think your the alliance is working out for you so far? How do you think that's gonna pay out?
It's going pretty good. I think so far. I think we're gonna both have a great season. I think G Stu. I think he's gonna be one of those underrated guys. Maybe sneak and get some top tens around there, here and there. Uh, Overall, I think this is going to work out in the long term. At least I think so.
Yeah. Also, some big huge recaps. Wow, recap. It's a show name. Um, New schemes are out this week. If I can find one,
Ooh.
if I can find some of them here, I'm gonna go look and see if I can find some of the ones that were just released. Oh, I forgot about this one. It is a very beautiful scheme, I would say. If I can pull it up from my email. Craig, you've seen this, right?
Which one?
The new After Dark scheme for Diesel.
Yes.
Bass Pro
Yes.
After Dark. That is what the scheme looks like. It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Now, what we can't see on track, we don't have any on track shots, but from that we can share with you guys. But as we can see on track, the actual design's an actual light. It actually glows like a neon. But for some reason, in the render and the like image, like the little cool graphic poster they made, it's I mean SPR again killing it with the graphics, killing it with the schemes this year. They've had probably the best schemes overall. I would say Laddie on Autosport is second place, or I mean those guys are just busting out schemes every week. I mean they're top notch. They're beautiful. But After Dark Bass Pro Shops is the first one that has been at least shown. Cade is running a his Elliott Sadler like tribute car, or is that just a tribute to his favorite Seaman car? Did we ever get a clarification on that?
Yes, it actually is to the old Elliott Sadler Siemens car, and it is his favorite Siemens car of all time.
Very beautiful Seaman car. Now remember, we are sponsored by Viagra and Trojan condoms, so that is kind of funny play on words over there. But yeah, sorry, I was just saying some of our sponsors.
I'm just trying to keep that in.
Oh my God. Okay, let's just go past this. We're gonna talk about two quick things here to round up our last 8 minutes here on the recap show. The new penalty system. This is more of a low serious topic, so we're just gonna try to explain it the best we can. Craig, if you wanna,
there's like 4 tiers of penalties.
yeah, there's 4 tiers. They're all within reason, I would say, right?
Yeah, I'll say so.
Okay, so here we are gonna move. Oh wait, not that over. Whoa, what am I doing? Okay, now I'm doing it. All right, we'll show the penalties right here on Recap TV. I don't know if y'all can't Recap TV can't really see it that well. You can't really see the text, but I'm gonna read it for y'all. The new penalty system is been put in place after Iowa and Watkins Glen, after the events that have happened, the events that have with wrecking almost every rate. I mean, what? Glen, I don't think they ran longer than 5 laps green. Horrible for not horrible in the fact that the league did that. It's just not a good thing. And
yeah,
Craig, you can elaborate on this because I know you have all the inside scoops, and you're still trying to get that Laddie on Autosport throwback for him and that 9 car. But the aggressive driving rule: if a driver repeatedly causes a caution or is dive bombing in recent multiple complaints from the drivers, this driver could have these penalties issued. Okay. The first penalty is called a P1. Drivers on watch for the next following week to see if improvement is made. Sorry. I mean, I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
P1 is basically a warning.
P1's a warning. P2 is a failure to show improvement. The driver will receive a 1 race suspension for failure of improvement. So basically, all these also take the following week. So since we run 2 races a night, if a P2 is given on race 1, remember all penalties are issued after both races. But in race 1, if someone gets a P2, they just don't race for the following week, like the first race of the following week, if that makes sense. So you can't be kicked off of a race from the first race, but just some clarification there. P3, driver does not change after multiple weeks of the same or similar actions. The driver will be stripped of points for the race that the penalty is issued and a run one race suspension. So, well, how would you like to say that, Craig? They're just adding on to what P2 is?
Yeah, basically yes. And whatever race you got the penalty is, you're stripped of all your points.
Yeah. And then the last one, which is kind of a brutal one.
My goodness.
P4 is for driver for every race more than 5 that he or she has had a reckless driving that has had. Oh, that is not worded correctly. Cade cannot type. That is for sure. That has had reckless driving. That driver will be suspended 2 races, loss of points for that race if a P4 is issued. Damn. That's brutal. That means you miss a week of racing. You miss a week of racing, and let's say you basically are losing. You're getting out of 4 races points for 1. You don't get last place points. You get 0 points earned. Wow. Okay. The teammate rule, that was already put into place, but it's now put in public, at least easier for the public to see, is that RECS or cautions help a teammate, so basically MWR situation, and then the clean racing statement. So that is the new point system been put in place by Race Control and by them. What would you do you think this is a good job by NASCAR and by them? Do you think this is a horrible job? Do you think this is what needs to be done? What do you think from this, Craig?
Well, first 3 are justified. Then you got P4, which is just the most brutal penalty I've seen in a while.
It does say for 5 races or more after this being repeated. So that means you have to be doing the same. That means for 3 straight race weekends, basically, you have to be reckless driving, and it has to be more than just bumping someone. I feel like that's justified, but also at the same time, I don't know if it's fully justified.
It's justified but brutal.
Justified but brutal. That's a great way to put it. And now wrapping up here in our last 3 minutes, we couldn't get King of Kings on the show. Sorry, folks. We'll hopefully get him on later on. He'll win again more than likely. I'm not really afraid of him not winning again. We got to go into next week. New points, point shakeup, new penalty system, more schemes. 2 new tracks that the league hasn't gone to yet, but they are cookie cutters, and so that's why I'm a little bit more okay with going into this week. My expectations are decently high. I hope there's not as much of a wreck fest, but we could be looking at some really good racing. They're going to Atlanta and Vegas. Atlanta likes to eat at those tires, as we're gonna just talk about that. What do we think about Atlanta Motor Speedway? We're looking at the teaser graphic here. Qualifying starts at 8:15. Race starts at 8:30. I just think there's a lot of knowledge that we can unpack from what we know of Atlanta, and I think we're gonna have some really good racing here, Craig. I think your guys are gonna do pretty good because hopefully that technical alliance starts paying out. Gotta really hope you're technical. How much are you paying for that?
I honestly forgot, but it's probably 6 digits or something, maybe.
Who does finances for you?
Well, we got a guy.
Well,
right back. You wrap up the show, okay?
Oh, where you going?
Oh, just somewhere right quick.
All right, I'll wrap up the show for you, Mr. Craig. That was Craig Popkris, everyone.
Sorry about this, folks.
That's all good. That's Craig Popkris, everyone. Glad he could join us here today. As we'll wrap up here, looking at next week's schedule, they're going to Vegas Day and then Atlanta also. And then the week after next, June 25th, Michigan and Phoenix. That is when Cade will be running his Good Wrench Throwback. Road America and Kansas, those are going to be 2 great races. And then we have our Throwback Weekend, July 9th. Darlington and Bristol, 2 great tracks. And then Chicago and North Korean Tire, July 16th. Texas and Talladega, Double T. July 23rd, and then the Roval and Coke. So they stay at Charlotte for week 9, and then they go into the playoffs, which is Vegas night. So that's all it is for this week, folks. Nice, cleaner, simple. Not as many big, huge things have really happened other than some schemes, which have already been shown through the Twitter, and y'all have already seen that. But that's the new points. That's the new penalties, what we expect from the drivers. I think we're going to have some really good racing. I think this is going to be the better week. I think a lot of drivers are going to show out here. So we'll see here. Again, this is the Rogue Energy Recap Show. I'm your host, Cade Welty. We will talk to y'all next week. And next week is Michigan and Phoenix. So we should hopefully get some pretty dang good racing. I love Phoenix. I love Michigan. Hopefully we see some cooler schemes coming out from SPR, Lation Autosport. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to end it real quick. I just forgot about this and never even mentioned it. Lation Autosport, one car right now, is representing the manufacturer Dodge. Dodge is entered into the Rogue Energy Cup Series. I'm reading a statement from the Dodge manufacturers right now. We think Lation is the best driver for this after winning the Daytona 500. Big, huge Dodge fan. And we think he will fully move our movement into the Rogue Energy Cup Series, and he will lead our team and give us good insight so we can maybe expand to more than one driver in the field and maybe be a fourth big manufacturer. So a fourth big manufacturer is joining the league. So, well, everyone, welcome Dodge to the NASCAR Rogue Energy Cup Series. That's huge news. That's really good for the league, and their first race will be Vegas, so we'll see how that Dodge power does here. And if a Dodge gets in victory lane its first race, we'll have a segment about that. But again, folks, this is the Rogue Energy Cup Series recap show. I'm your host, Cade Welty. Craig Popkers had to go to the bathroom. And we're ending it off here today, folks.